Every time I come to a summit, I come away with a new client that's going to make you money and I understand you take a week off, you lose income.
Right.
But at the end of the day, if you get that new client, you're going to make more money in the long run. Those kind of things is what I see.
Originating from deep inside the Rocky Mountains, transported through the power of the internet, and arriving inside your tiny earbuds. It's the Appraiser Coach Podcast, helping appraisers increase their efficiency, quality, and make more money. Here's the guy who makes it his life's mission to create value for real estate appraisers nationwide. Your host and the Appraiser Coach, Dustin Harris.
And welcome everybody to the program. Dustin Harris hanging out in the podcast chair, which happens to be a mobile podcast chair today. I'm actually hanging out in Planet Hollywood in the beautiful conference center here for the 2018 Appraisal Summit and Expo here in Las Vegas, Nevada. And boy, it has been a wonderful, wonderful conference so far to be able to meet and greet with other appraisers. You know, I get appraisers asking me all the time, why should I consider coming to a conference like this? And I'll tell you, there are several reasons. One of the greatest benefits, not just the CE, not just the ability to interact with vendors, but also the ability to network with other appraisers. And appraisers, trust me when I say, when you can get out of your appraisal cave and rub shoulders with other appraisers, you will benefit greatly from it. I'm going to tell you a story here in just a little bit about that very thing that happened right here at the summit for me. But first, I want to remind you, of course, we are sponsored by OREP Insurance. OREP, of course, is the E&O that I use. It is the least expensive, best coverage out there, best value for appraisers. It's orep.org, OREP.org. We are sponsored by DataMaster. DataMaster, of course, is here, as they always are to these conferences, showing what they can do for appraisers, saving 30 to 60 minutes per report. That's an average of 45 minutes per report, folks. Count that up. Tell me that's not a great investment. It is. Go to datamasterusa.com for more information. One more time, it's datamasterusa.com. Finally, we are sponsored, of course, by Alamode. Alamode, of course, is the software that I've been using for years and years and years, will continue to use because of the value that they give to me. Alamode software. Go to alamode.com or 800-ALAMODE. Well, folks, before we jump back into the interviews and talk a little bit to the participants here at the summit, I want to tell you a story quickly that happened to me just this morning that is an example of why you should come to the summit. Dealing with a particular report right now, a very challenging property, and I've got some pushback from the AMC about some of the results that I've come up with. Felt pretty good about the results, and not real happy with the kickback that I got from a new AMC that I've been working with. And to make a long story short, I sat down with a group of 3 other appraisers this morning for breakfast. And we're sitting there at the table talking back and forth and enjoying conversation. And we were talking about regulation, talking about AMCs, talking about some of the kickback that we sometimes get as appraisers. And I said, you know what? I'm going to be vulnerable for a minute and tell you what I'm dealing with right now. And I shared with them some experiences that I was having with this particular AMC and this particular property. And 10 minutes later, folks, I knew exactly what I was going to do to cover my assets, if you will. That is one of many, many stories that I could tell you of great opportunities when you come to a conference like this to be able to share and talk and swap stories as appraisers, to network with other appraisers and get their advice, get their input, get their opinions on certain things. That's what these conferences are all about. If you've not been to one in the past, you need to get to one in the future. We're going to sit down now and talk to participants that have come here to the summit here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Let's dive right into that right now. All right, sitting down with Danny Williamson, a good friend of mine, part of my dream team out of D.C. But we meet in D.C. You're actually out of Ocala, Florida.
Ocala, Florida, north central Florida, north of Orlando.
Okay, cool. That's quite a ways to travel to come to Vegas. Why are you here?
First of all, I like Vegas a lot. I get to bet on a football game or two, but it's just always good to get out of your office, get out of your so-called box, and just talk to people that have offices like yours, and then listen to the instructors, and they just give you an idea of what's coming and what's going on and what you actually need to do in your office. Give you some good ideas and suggestions.
So what's coming? What's going on, and what do we need to do?
The other day I took a desktop class, which is very interesting. There's a huge market out there right now for desktops.
Yes.
We're just going to have to figure out, how long it takes us to do it, how much income we can make on it, and try to take advantage of that.
If you can be compliant, if you can cross the T's, dot the I's, all of that jazz.
It's like any other appraisal. You just make it USPAP compliant, and you're good to go. Right. That's what I think.
A lot of appraisers are out there talking about desktops, not to get too deep into that subject, but I think it's a hot topic right now. Many of them saying there's just no way I can do everything I need to do as an appraiser and make money on something that they're going to pay me $100, $125 to do. What are your thoughts?
I think you streamline it and you get so good at it, you do it in an hour and you make $100 an hour. That's how you do it.
Okay, all right.
That's just what I see. That's what we try to do in my VA appraisals. I try to do, I get $450 for a VA appraisal. I try to do it in 4.5 hours.
Good for you. Okay,
That's $100 an hour, and that's what we shoot for in our office.
So this is what I love about Dream Team members. They think in dollars per hour, not in fees.
It makes perfect sense. Everybody should sit down and actually maybe even contact you about the Dream Team, but just the All-Star team as well. Do that. Come to Vegas, meet new people, talk to them, and learn.
Well, so let me ask you about that, because you talked about the appraisers getting out of their, I call it their cave, like the appraiser cave. It's unlike the Bat Cave in the sense that I think they go there to hide, not to necessarily put their tights on and jump in their bat car, but you're a traveler. I mean, you get out there, you come to our mastermind every 3 months, you're here in Vegas. There's got to be a reason, man.
Well, I do love to travel, that's for sure.
Okay.
But it just seems like everywhere I go, I always like to be around people that are so-called smarter than me and have better ideas than me. And if you surround yourself with those people, and to be honest with you, everybody here is kind of out of their cave as well, too.
Right.
And they're all just like you. They want to help each other. There's no real competition here like, well, Danny's going to steal Coach's business or anything like that. We're all helping each other.
Right.
And that's what it's all about. That's what you do. That's why you go to seminars. That's why you get your CE. That's why you join the appraiser coaches team, those kind of things.
Some appraisers are sitting at home and saying, okay, well, that's nice for Dustin. That's nice for Danny. I can get my CE online. I think I'll just sit home and do that. What would you say to that individual?
Every time I come to a summit, I come away with a new client that's going to make you money and I understand you take a week off, you lose income.
Right.
But at the end of the day, if you get that new client, you're going to make more money in the long run. Those kind of things is what I see.
Danny Williamson, Ocala, Florida. Thank you for joining us, my friend.
Yeah, man. Good to be here.
And I'm sitting down with Elisa Muir. You're from the Utah area.
Yes.
You tell me northeastern Utah.
Right, correct.
Okay. That's quite a ways to travel to get down here to Las Vegas. I hope you flew.
No, I drove.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, I would drive to Vegas quite a bit. We love Vegas.
Okay,
Yep.
very cool.
Love Vegas.
So you're here for the summit.
Yes, I am.
And is this your first summit?
No, I believe I've been here at least 5, maybe 6
Oh my gosh.
times.
Okay, so you keep coming back for some reason.
Oh yeah.
Why?
I love it because I get to see what it's really like in the upper echelon
love
of
it.
people who are the leaders, and I really get a love and feel towards them and how they love the business also.
Wonderful. Okay.
And I get really comfortable knowing that I'm supported by normal people.
I love that. Normal people, because I think we as appraisers, we spend a lot of time in what I call the appraiser cave, which is not like the Bat Cave. It's more like I'm going to hide away in my little hidey hole, and I'm going to do my appraisal reports, right? And I'm not going to talk to anybody else. Not that you're like that, but I think a lot of appraisers are. So you're willing to get out, rub shoulders with other appraisers, and what does that do for you as far as getting to know other appraisers that maybe they don't work in your market, they're working across the nation? Why does that help you as an appraiser?
Well, I see a big diversity of all kinds of people, and I know that it's an opportunity for many people that can do this business. Young, older, diverse cultures can do it, and I love to see that. I think it's a business for people. It's not for everybody, But I love to see that there's a diversity of people that can come together and learn from each other.
Yeah, it's not for everybody. It's only for cool people like you and I.
Yeah.
Do you do the continuing ed when you're here?
Yes, that's why I'm here. That's one of
Wonderful.
the biggest reasons why I'm here is because it's hard for me to do it at home because I've had so much directions pulling on my time, phone calls, office, family.
Right.
So it just gives me a chance to get away, relax a bit, and learn.
Nice. So you can, in Utah, you can do online education, but you're saying there's something about being live with other appraisers.
Well, let me tell you, I've gained a couple of tools that I love that I use. They're not here today, but I love the tool that I wouldn't have gotten it any other way unless I would have come to the conference.
You were here, yeah. So you've got the vendors on the floor as well, sharing great tools and ideas and things that you can participate in.
And I can even complain to them.
I love it, yeah, face to face.
Oh yeah,
right?
I'd like to make a list of things I want to say. Would you please do this? Would you please do that? But I fail to do that every time. But I do love the fact that I get to see a real person.
Thank you for being with us. I'm sitting down here with Mike Carrillo out of Inland Empire in California. First time to the summit?
Yes, sir.
Did you drive in?
I did drive.
Okay, right on. So what brought you out? What intrigued you enough to come to the summit this year?
I know there'll be different vendors here. I'm looking to kind of see what's going on in the industry and see what
Nice.
other companies have to offer.
Are you doing the CE?
Yes.
Okay, so you're doing the CE, so you're getting your continuing ed, but you came really for the vendors. Why?
I also took an additional class
Oh.
on desktop appraisal.
I've heard about that class. That was a largely attended class, I hear. Yeah. Did you get a little CE for that as well?
Yes, under $5.
Okay, cool. Right on. So as you've been to some of the booths so far, it's early in the conference. What have you learned? Are you glad you came?
I'm definitely glad I came. Learning a little bit from the speakers. It's still early in the day, so a lot more to go with that. And then just figuring out different companies, what they do, what they have to offer.
Perfect. Worth coming?
Definitely was coming.
Coming back?
Definitely coming back.
Okay, awesome. Mike, thank you.
And thank you. Nice meeting you.
Sitting down with Julie Fry, Julie with an I, Fry, right?
Yes.
And you're from the Denver area.
Correct.
You told me off the mic that this is the first time you've come to the summit. You've been to other conferences, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what brought you to the summit this year?
I hadn't heard of it before, and I thought, "Ooh, this looks interesting." And what really brought me here was the lineup of the courses.
Okay, so
I was-
you're here for continuing ed.
Yeah,
Okay.
I found some interesting topics and thought I need to go learn something.
So one of the things that you and I talked about before I turned the microphone on is the fact that you're in a bit of an unusual situation. When I say unusual, I don't think it's typical right now to have these large offices with a lot of appraisers, but you work in an office environment with several other appraisers, okay?
Correct.
You're not the owner of the business, but yet you're here.
Yes.
Why are you here instead of, say, the owner of the business?
Because I'm a people person.
Okay, I can tell that. Good. Yeah, you're easy to get along with.
Because in order to expand my business, I need to expand on who I know and what I know.
Okay.
And then I can bring that back.
Love it.
So-
Okay, I love it. So you, in other words, the knowledge that you're gaining here at the summit, you can now take back to the others that are working in the office as well.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So you talked about you're a people person. What does that have to do with the conference here? You said you're here for continuing education, right? But why else are you here?
I want to be able to put names to faces. I want to be able to, when I have a problem appraisal or property that I want to reach out to somebody, I have names of people that I can do that with now.
Love it.
And what I
Networking.
have really found is that people that attend these conferences are open to answering questions to people that have attended these conferences.
And they're super cool.
Yeah.
Julie
Yeah.
Fry from Denver area, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
Let's pause here for just a second and remind you, of course, of our three great sponsors. Alamode here is here at the summit. Of course, CoreLogic. They own Columbia Institute, which puts on the summit. And, of course, they own Alamode software. Software I've been using for over 20 years. And I would highly encourage folks, if you've not looked at it in the past, that you need to look at it in the future because Alamode saves me time, saves me energy, saves me from problems that I might have with other software vendors out there. I love Alamode. It allows me to do more with less. I know it inside and out. The tools and the tips and the ideas and the efficiencies that are given to us through Alamode are absolutely incredible. Check them out. Go to alamode.com. That's ALAMODE.com, or call them at 800-ALAMODE. We are sponsored, of course, by OREP Insurance. OREP is the E&O insurance provider that I have been using for several years now. Had an opportunity to talk with Isaac Peck of OREP Insurance here a few minutes ago. And man, I tell you, I could not be happier with my E&O insurance. I know it's silly. We're talking E&O insurance, right? It's not even something you think about. Well, you do think about it once a year when you renew. And I'll tell you, the process of renewal and the money that they save me and the benefits that I get are absolutely incredible. Folks, if you are with any other E&O, I don't care if you've been with them for years and years and years, would you please stop what you're doing? Check out what you're doing with that company and then compare them to OREP Insurance. Go to orep.org for more information. It's OREP.org. Finally, we are sponsored by DataMaster. DataMaster, of course, is the ability to save approximately 45 minutes per report. Why? Folks, think about it this way. Every time you choose a comparable, okay, you've got to now enter that information into the grid. You've got to put in the square footage and the room count and the lot size and the year built and the this, that, the other. All, what does it take you? 2, 3, 4 minutes? It doesn't sound like much, right? Until you times that by 6 or 7 comparables that you might be putting in, both your sales and your actives. And then what about the county information? Not just for your sales, but for the MC sheet, for the top of page 1, the owner name, the parcel number, all of that, folks. Can you believe this? All of that is imported for you at the touch of a button with DataMaster. Check them out. Go to datamasterusa.com. One more time, it's datamasterusa.com. And now we're going to go back to the floor of the summit and talk to the participants and why they've come here to the summit in Las Vegas, Nevada. Sitting down with Ryan Campbell from Gil, Arizona, just outside Phoenix, right?
Correct.
And you cover the Phoenix area then?
Generally, yes.
How long you been appraising?
Started my apprenticeship in 05 and certified in 07.
Wow. Good for you. Why are you here?
Networking opportunities. Looking forward to hearing what Fannie and Freddie had to say about the future of appraising.
Did you attend that
I did not.
course?
That was announced on the schedule after I'd already bought my plane ticket. I wish I would have been there, but I did go over their booth and talk to them. It's nobody knows exactly where we're going, but what everybody's sure is things are going to change.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
Well, we've heard a lot about that at this conference. A lot of change coming down the. What does that mean for Ryan Campbell? What are you doing with your business to get ready for that change?
I've got people in my office that are depending on me to lead, and that means staying in touch with current events.
Nice.
Finding out, talking to people like Fannie Mae today, and some of the other AMCs that are trying to lead the way.
Right.
Some of the other chief appraisers in different areas, and people at NAA in terms of what we can do to improve ourselves.
Right. National Association of Appraisers.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah. And hopefully learning a little bit too about going after non-lender work and branching our business out so we're not so lender dependent, and not so rate driven. And just thinking outside the box.
Okay.
Learning about new technologies.
So you use the term networking. That's a buzzword, of course, right? So explain to me what networking means to Ryan.
Well, over the years of doing this, I start meeting people that are in other market areas, in different states all over the country, and hearing people like Mr. Reynolds from
Brian Reynolds.
Brian Reynolds. Yep. It's uplifting to listen to hear him give us advice and maybe some different things we can try in our business. Same with John Digman and talking about, I like OneNote I heard about today that we have not been doing. I think I'm going to start doing.
Excellent.
Things of that nature.
Yeah, these when you come to a conference like this, you get all kinds of tools and tips. Some you can disregard and say, you know what, that doesn't really work for me. But others, I know appraisers are talking about these wonderful tools that are coming out or have been out that they may not have heard of, and it's time to implement in their business.
Yeah, very much so.
Someone who's sitting at home listening to this, or they're driving around taking comp pictures as they listen to this podcast, they're thinking about the summit next year. What would your advice be to them?
Come early, come for the whole thing. Come ready. Try not to stay out too late so you're rested when you come.
It's
in Vegas.
hard. It's in Vegas.
Yeah,
yes.
You can hear my voice is behind because of it a little bit. But even so, just come willing to learn and with an open mind. You're not going to be a millionaire because you come, but you're going to be a better person. You're going to be a better appraiser, better business owner, and hopefully anybody who's come here, I think we're ready that change is coming. That's the
Absolutely.
biggest reason why I'm here. So I want to make sure that I'm on top of that and ready.
Right.
That I'm ready before day one, so I'm not scrambling afterwards when this
Love
finally
it.
does happen.
Yeah, those that are not coming to these conferences, they hear about everything after the fact. You're prepared and ready and positioning yourself for that change.
Correct.
Brian Campbell, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Dustin.
Sitting down with former Mastermind student Wally Goddard. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
You're here out of California.
Yep.
What brings you to the summit? This is not your first summit.
No, this is my 7th, I believe. It might be the
Wow.
sixth or 7th.
Okay.
Ever since
So-
I joined the MAA, I've been coming.
Okay, so the NAA, the National
yeah.
Association of Appraisers, who helped sponsor this,
Right.
Are you just coming because you're a member of the NAA, or are there other reasons that you're here?
I know so many people here from coming to these. I like my contacts. I get to get new AMCs. I just really enjoy coming here. Face-to-face is my favorite. I hate learning on computers.
Right. Okay, so let's talk about that for a second, because those who have not been here before may not necessarily know what the layout here is. You walk into the conference, you walk right into the venue that they call the floor, if you will, and this is where the vendors are.
Right.
There's booths that you can visit, okay? What is the benefit of those booths to you as an appraiser?
Well, the biggest ones, it took a couple of years worth, but I keep stopping at the VA appraisal, and I love working for VA.
Yes.
And, she finally saw I was serious, and I'm sure that really helped. I can't say that helped, but
Okay.
it sure did.
Okay.
And then in the past, there's been different AMCs that I've worked with before, and it's nice to see their faces and get more things. Data Master came in our area just last year
Yep.
and stuff. So
So what you're saying is, if you're trying to get it on the VA panel, come to the summit.
that was good for me.
Okay, so you talked a little bit about you were here yesterday for hours, if
Right.
you will. What does that mean? You're here for hours?
Well, as you know, we need depending on the rotation in California, 49 or 56 hours. I forget exactly what it is.
Okay.
Which
So many
includes
continuing
yeah,
hours.
continue at hours every 2 years. So I get about half of them each time I come here.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so you come
That's
here.
important.
And you get the benefit of the hours, but what
Right.
else do you get from those classes?
I love talking to people directly.
You seem so shy, Wally.
Yeah, well, in a way I am. But I like even the small classes before the actual summit. They have the 2 pre-day classes and just the one-on-one. There are usually 30 or 40 people in those classes instead of the couple hundred in the
Right.
big ones.
Right.
And so I've learned so much. I'm a good test taker, so when I learn on computers, I can do it. I can pass the test,
Right,
but I
sure.
forget it. It all goes away.
Oh,
Here,
sure.
here it's the interaction with people.
You're what they call a kinesthetic learner.
Okay,
Right? You're
okay.
tactile. You got to be
Yes,
here and,
yeah,
and
I
feel
really
and
do.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you and I were talking a little bit off the mic about numbers.
Right.
How does a conference like this or similar educational opportunities help you with your numbers in your office? And I'm talking volume, and I'm talking profit, and I'm talking growing an appraisal business.
Right. Well, as you know, Dustin, I first met you actually many years ago.
Yes.
But more recently, when you did your mastermind. Now, first mastermind, it was the
Go Create Some Value
Create
was
Some
our
Value.
workshop years ago. Yeah, you attended that.
I did, and I actually brought my wife.
Yes, you did.
We had a way so she could really see how the whole pattern worked, and has continued to push me towards that. And that's been, we were talking 4 or 5 years ago.
It was a long time.
Something
That was here in Vegas, right?
Yes.
And I think that was February of 2014.
Okay. And we were the only group of 20 people in the 1 million square foot
Conference center. Boy, that was that was
a killer. Creepy
Yeah.
feeling.
Yes, it was.
Because I think there's 1 million square feet.
Yeah.
Anyhow, but it completely changed. A lot of people call it dinosaur. I learned from my cousin, who was a great teacher, but the old school way where one person does start to finish all the way through.
Yeah.
So since that time, I've hired 2 people. One that does a lot of my data entry, data gathering and stuff for me, and another one from 10 to 4 every day does all my phones, all my scheduling, all my emails, all the
Love
stuff.
it.
So it lets me do my appraising.
So you can focus on tier 3 is
Yes.
what we call that.
Yes.
So tier 3 appraisal, analyzing, picking comps, adjusting what an appraiser should be doing, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
And since that time, Dustin, right now, the first year we were at 33%, the first year, both in jobs and on income. I was able to take, I only had 1 associate helper at that time. Now I have 2, and we've increased 12 to 13% every year since then.
That is awesome,
Yeah, so
man.
it's
Yeah.
around 50% increase, and there's no exaggeration in
Yeah.
that on both numbers of jobs we do and on income.
Yeah, it's interesting to me that the types of personalities that join either the mastermind group, which you were a part of up in Salt Lake, and also the workshops, which you talked about, the Go Create Some Value workshop. These are the type of people that come to these events as well. Here at the summit, you have an opportunity to learn, to grow, to see the changes that are coming over the last couple of days. You've seen firsthand that there's no doubt there's changes coming. Fannie Mae is here, Freddie Mac is here, and they're talking about change. What that means for us as business owners, well, I guess it's to be seen. But where does that put Wally in anticipation for that change?
I have a way heads up of what's going to be coming down, or what's possibly coming down. Where when the mortgage meltdown happened and stuff, we kind of all saw it happening, but not know how bad and what was going to happen. And so I went to a Monterey Bay seminar 15 years ago, and they were talking about how they're going to be changing all the hours, and so that encouraged me to get my certification license 12, 13 years ago.
So you were proactive.
Yes, because I saw that. The guy had said, hey, this is 4 years off, but he says that sounds like a long ways, but it's not, and he explained why. And so without knowing those things are coming down, you just do one day at a time, and you have to stop and look out ahead of you.
Wally Goddard, thank you for joining us.
You're very welcome.
Please say hi to Diane for me.
Okay. Thanks.
So we're here at the summit in Las Vegas, Nevada, sitting down with a good friend of mine, Mr. Sam Henderson.
Hey, man. Good to see you again.
Good to see you as well. I really appreciate you taking time to sit down with me. I've been going to the summit for several years, and you are a familiar face.
Yeah, we've been doing this for quite a few years now, 8 or 9 times. And before that, the other organization, I was involved in that too. So good to see you, man.
Yeah, likewise. So what keeps you coming back to the summit, man?
I like coming to the summit because you get a lot of good information that you don't get when you're back in your shop by yourself. And the comradeship that we have, meeting guys like you and ladies who are doing a great job in the field, sharing information and networking. I like that.
Right. Look, I hear that word a lot as I've interviewed people over the last couple of days. They use this word networking. What does that mean to Sam Henderson? What do you mean by networking? What good does that do the independent appraiser?
I had lunch with a guy who owns the AMC, had lunch with another appraiser from California, and they were dialoguing on issues regarding appraising, stuff I had no idea that was going on. And I just sat there and gleaned from these guys,
Love it.
I mean, you listen to the speakers, that's good too, but sitting in a lunch environment or environment like this and just hearing guys chew the fat and talk, you pick up a lot of good information you can share once you get back, and you can use it.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna ask about the 900-pound gorilla in the room here.
Okay.
So you've been doing this long enough that you've seen some changes over the years. I've also been here for several years. One of the big questions that I get is, now that CoreLogic owns Columbia Institute, right, which owns the summit, how have things changed?
Well, let me go back a little bit and give a little history. Before Columbia came on, there was another organization that George Harrison was a part of, very instrumental in, and I was involved in that organization. And then Columbia evolved after that organization closed down. And so Columbia has a long history of providing quality education for boots on the ground appraisers.
Yes, absolutely.
Now we have CoreLogic. CoreLogic has a lot of information for our technology and innovations that appraisers really can benefit from.
Sure.
And my position is, if I'm the lone guy, the lone ranger in my shop, out in wherever I am, and I'm by myself, I'm really limiting myself and my ability to do a good job. But if I'm coming out and meeting other people who have ideas I can share, that I can learn from, it's going to benefit me. So with CoreLogic merging and taking on Columbia, I see it as a win-win for appraisers. The innovation and the technology that CoreLogic has, plus the history that Columbia brings, is just a match that's not made in heaven, but it's a match made in appraisers heaven. But we all can benefit from this. So it's a good thing, I think.
Awesome. Wonderful. Sam Henderson, thank you.
Thank you, my friend.
All right, folks, that should wrap it up. I hope you've enjoyed getting to know some of these appraisers. I know that I love coming to the summit and rubbing shoulders with appraisers, great appraisers nationwide, people who really do care about what they do as appraisers. That's why you should attend the summit in 2019. Be here, folks. I love the summit, love the opportunity to meet with other appraisers and vendors and the CE and everything else that goes on here at the summit. Check them out and be here next year. Thanks for joining me.
You've been listening to the Appraiser Coach podcast with Dustin Harris. If you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star rating and post a short review on iTunes. For more in-depth insider information on how you can make more money as a real estate appraiser, visit theappraisercoach.com and sign up for the All-Star team today. Thanks for joining us. And now, get out there and create some value.